Thought I'd make a quick video, just kind of showing you what I'm doing here with these ground polys. Maybe a little bit of review from some of the ground poly series and maybe a few new things along the way. So actually what I'm doing here at the moment, I started out with a rectangle way down here at this end, and I just drew it right here, and then I started editing that rectangle. So I'll kind of show you how I've been doing that. Let's see. Kind of left where I left off here. I'm going to select this segment, and let's see. If I down here, if I divide it once, maybe twice, select by vertex. We're just going to go ahead and move this. This one I want to move. Oh, I don't know what the heck. Let's put it all the way up here. That looks good. Down a little bit more. Okay, perfect. And take this one. We'll go ahead and move it all the way up here. At the moment, I'm just following the lines. Of course, at least here, the image that shows the concrete is kind of staggered, so it's not cut off here. It's actually a kind of a staggered edge. So, but at the moment, I'm just going to do a smooth edge, kind of like it's done down here. You see they just kind of cut the concrete off there instead of, you know, leaving the whole block. And so at the moment I'm just doing it like that for everything, and then I can always come back and edit this to make it look staggered. But at the moment I'm just going to follow the line. So let's see here. So I left that vertex there. I moved those vertices, and then I deselect that one and just selected these two. So now I have another one to place right about. Oh, let's see. Let's go right about there. And this one, we need to go here in the segment, and we need to divide it. Let's go ahead and do it. I do maybe twice at a time. I'm gonna go back to vertex. Let's see here. Okay, so you can kind of see how this line right here, it's getting kind of bendy, so we need to fix that for now. So let's go back to segment. It's already selected. We can right click and say line. Let's make sure we did that right. Let's select all this anyways and just make it the line. Okay, so we right click and check mark line instead of curve, and that keeps these lines straight, which is what we want. Okay, let's move this. Keep bringing it over here. We're just going to follow the line. Maybe up a little bit. Alright, that's close enough. Okay, we'll unselect that one, so we have to select these three now. I think we just use a box select. There we go. That's just a click and drag. And let's go ahead and stop it right here. So we'll start coming back. I'm just going to kind of move this back and forth. I could always, if I wanted even a little more arbitrary movement, whoops, I could always select the XY, restrict the XY plane, and then this, move them like this. But it's working fine just using the lines here. Okay. So it's actually a fairly easy way, pretty straightforward way of going about this. And see, we need to get these selected. And of course, after I get this spline all positioned and shaped, I'll convert it to a polygon, editable poly, and use the create shape function to make some of these make these edges into shapes themselves, and I can loft to those shapes, which I did in the taxaway creation series. And I might do it here just to give you guys an example, but let's just keep going here. I think I'll make my way around here, and again I might actually even fast forward some of this. You get the idea, and I'm just gonna speed through some of it. I edit the video. Okay, so let's go ahead and move these. So I'm going to go ahead and save a copy of this. I'm going to save as ground poly or ground model tutorial 01, because I'm not sure if I want to convert this to poly yet, although I'm going to. Pretty quick here just so I can show you guys. But that way, at least that way I can show you guys, and not, if I always want to go back, I can go back to about this point in the model and add on to this even more, but I'll just leave it at this for now just to show you guys a couple things. So now we have these rough just sharp corners here, so we need to fix that. We need to select fillet. Okay, select the vertex, just click, drag, move up. That's usually the way I do it. Sometimes I'll actually enter it into here if I want something a little more precise, but at the moment it's just kind of an arbitrary thing. And that looks good. Kind of match it to the line as close as you can. It's kind of a fun thing to do because it's transforms things pretty quickly, and it's like, whoa, a nice curve just like that. I went ahead and left this line straight here instead of following the line here, because you can see the concrete comes across, and I thought I'd at least throw that in there if anything. So that looks pretty good. Let's go ahead and once you kind of finish doing all your vertex work, and of course make sure you're completely done, make sure everything's right where you want it, because once you convert it to a polygon or editable poly, you can't go back. So sometimes you might save a copy of just the splines and then convert it on a new file, so you can always go back if you have to. Alright, convert to poly, convert to editable poly, there we go. That looks pretty good. It's lined up nicely for the most part. So we need to loft some edges here. The way you do that, I might loft something on this to start out with. And again, this is kind of somewhat of a review video. So for maybe some of you guys that are a little more experienced at GMAX, don't need to watch those, you know, don't need to go quite as in depth as those taxaway creation videos. You can just watch this and get a little, you know, quicker ideas. So let's go ahead and select this poly. I'm gonna go ahead and create a shape here. So we're gonna, of course, our UV map, you know, is testing out some textures. I'm gonna go ahead and delete that. I don't want it right now. I was just testing some textures earlier. I'm gonna select by edge, and let's see here. Let's select over here. Let's select this first. Give this a shot. So basically we're going to select all the edges just like that. Okay, then down here there's a button under Edit Geometry. It says Create Shape. Generally you want to name these something that makes sense, so maybe at this point I'm just going to call it Edge _01. Obviously number everything like that, just the name and then underscore the number, in this case 01 because it's the first one. Okay, make sure the shape type is linear. Then just press OK. And we need to create a rectangle now. So we'll do that. Let's create a rectangle. Let's make the width 8 meters. Okay, now we can convert this to an editable spline. Select the by segments here. Let's select the 3 bottom ones here. Do not select the top one, and we'll just delete these. So we're left with this segment. Okay, and we can go ahead and name this something that makes a little more sense. So maybe like this is gonna be kind of the width of our loft here. So let's name it Edge Temp for template, and we'll call it. I already have one of these, so I'm gonna name this one 02. Okay, so now we need to select this edge here. There we go. Now let's select this new shape, Edge 1, and we're going to go to Create Geometry, Compound Objects. We can say Loft, and let's see here. Should be a GIP shape. Let's undo this if we can. Edit, select none. Okay. Good try. Let's go ahead and select by name here. That's one reason why you name all the parts in your model something intuitive, because you can select them through here easier. Let's select this rectangle here. There's a couple ways you can loft kind of. Let's see here, Edge Template 2. Got that selected. We can say Loft and then say Get Path, and then we can go here, select by name. We can say Edge. Let's see here, we need to select the path. So Loft, Get Path. Sometimes it gets shape. Let's see here. That's not working too well for us, so I don't know, sometimes lofting is never too consistent for me, so let's see here. Let's select the edge. Whoops, wrong thing. We want to select the edge right here. Okay, it's selected and it's not wanting me to, not looking like it's going to let me loft. Well, let's select this again. Maybe even go to wireframe would help. Okay, let's create a new edge here. We have this one over here, but I'm going to do a different one here. See if we can get this thing to cooperate. Usually it's something that I did wrong, but just in case, we'll do a different part of the object here. So I'm just selecting all the edges in this particular area. Make sure we have all of them selected. Just like that. Okay, let's go ahead and create shape. We'll call this Edge 02. Make sure it's linear and say OK. Let's go ahead and OK. Make sure we deactivate all selection things in here. OK. Now let's select Edge 2. and then we can loft, hopefully. Alright, get shapes, we'll select that rectangle right here, and it lofted quite nicely. Finally, okay. Glad that worked. Under skin parameters, we need to set the path and shape steps. In this case, we'll set both to 0. So that just follows the curve of the line. We don't really need any more polys than that. And that's a fairly smooth curve. Of course, you could always add some path steps if you want to, but I don't think it's necessary in this case. So that's basically how you loft your edges. I hope this gives you at least maybe a little review or even some ideas on how to do your ground polys. I'll probably come back later and when I'm ready to do like some taxi lines, some like wear layers over top and stuff, and come back and show you guys how to do some of that when the time is when the time comes. Alright, thanks.